We don't know a whole lot about what's going on with the Sergeant Rock film outside of it is happening, and it looks like Daniel Craig will be playing Sergeant Rock. But a brand new report has landed online that the one and only fan favorite creature commando, aka G.I Robot, is going to be in the film. I wonder how they got this scoop. It's almost like they watched Creature Commandos? So we all know by now that the Sergeant Rock film more or less is as confirmed as was the Huntress film when James Gunn would talk about it and hint at it but would never debunk this. And again, it seems like the whole Sergeant Rock thing is happening rather soon. If you're not familiar with who Sergeant Rock is, here's the basics. So Sergeant Rock, as some of you may know, is a character that dates all the way back to the late 1950s, first appearing in Our Army of War, issue number 83 in June of 1959, with of course the publication behind the character being DC Comics, and the character's full name being Franklin John Rock. Now, in an effort to try to be a little bit more competitive with the likes of Marvel Comics, a lot of people see the character of Sergeant Rock as DC's answer to Captain America. And while there are some similarities, it's not really comparable at all, I would say. Now, of course, the character's history does go all the way back to World War II, where the character was simply just called The Rock. He was a member of the infantry U.S. Army in the European theater of war, and subsequent issues and miniseries and retcons would add in a little bit more context about the character and, of course, his importance to the war and how he enlisted after the events of Pearl Harbor. The most recent take that really reinvented the character comes in 2009, which was a 6-issue miniseries called Sergeant Rock, The Last Battalion, Rock's Unit. Here they would further flesh out the character's history, connection to the DC universe, and of course, his integration into the bigger DC universe as more of a mainstay, if you will. Now, contrary to what some people believe, he does not actually have any super abilities or anything like that. He is just an expert marksman and good at hand-to-hand combat. Although they have toyed with the idea that he's almost superhero and super strength levels that could compare him to the likes of Metahuman, he's still relatively just a normal human, although he does have a couple of gadgets that do help him out. Over the decades, the character has also appeared in other interpretations of the DC universe, along with the famous Justice League cartoon where he actually had a little arc in there. And at one point, there was even deep discussions, and Arnold Schwarzenegger was in talks, or according to some, attached to star as Sergeant Rock in a film based on the character. This ultimately did not end up happening, obviously, as we do not have a film based on Sergeant Rock, but ever since then, every few years, a new person shows up on Hollywood's radar, pitching or attached to a Sergeant Rock project that never gets off the ground. So maybe, sometime soon, we will see him in all his live-action glory, fully realized and delivering what fans of the character have resonated with for decades. And speaking of decades, you guys remember in Creature Commandos when we get the flashback of G.I Robot as he's working with, the infantry, and he's trying to find his way to dispatch of a bunch of bad guys in Germany during that time. Because, ooh, God forbid if you upset that fan base, they go after you and then the video gets in trouble. Yeah, I know, it's insane. But yeah, actually, never mind. Yeah, he goes after Nazis. That's what Sergeant Rock is killing as well. And you know what? The way that they presented G.I Robot and the fact that the Sergeant Rock film is set to be a period film and James Gunn loves ensembles. I mean, doing Sergeant Rock and adding a live-action G.I Robot in that as like your only really CG-ish heavier character makes sense. And that's probably why the character appears in Creature Commandos to begin with, to set that up. So I'm pretty hyped for this, quite honestly, as I do like Sergeant Rock. So I think it'll be cool to explore the world wars, from that point of view, and also give us a different take on it since Sergeant Rock is a human, and there's a couple other interesting characters that he bounces off of in that world. One of them being G.I Robot. Well, everybody, thank you for watching that video. And as always, you can like, subscribe, share, do whatever you will. Check out the recommended video that's popped up somewhere on the screen. And also, if you would like additional content, including more discussions and more unfiltered content, check out what we offer to the members section, which has new videos going up all the time.